Welcome back to the Football Fitness Federation podcast. This is episode 338, and you will see on video it is just Jordan and I this week. Jordan, how are we doing?
I'm all good. It's good to be back. I've not been able to be on the last few podcasts, so it's nice to be back on. I'm very excited.
There were rumours around that you've been sacked off the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I can confirm it's not true. He is on his final warning, but it's not true.
Yeah, schedules weren't kind to us, were they? We couldn't align them, but we're back in. We're back in.
They weren't, but I will say there has been a lot of work going on behind the scenes between us both with everything we have got to come, which is what we're going to cover today. Because we now, as we record this, we're under 2 weeks till our conference,
Yeah.
and which has come around stupidly fast, which I'm sure you'll agree on. And
Yeah.
we wanted to do on this episode, we wanted to just jump in and just give a little bit of a preview. We've obviously released the lineup, the timetable. We've got majority of speakers out there. In this episode, we'll actually reveal the final piece of the puzzle as well, which is our afternoon keynote on the Wednesday. Well, yeah, we wanted just to preview and give you a bit of an idea on who's going to be at the conference, what you can expect as well. So Jordan, I feel like we've pulled together a pretty good lineup. We've had some really good feedback on the speakers. For yourself, who are some of the standouts that you're looking forward to seeing?
Oh, yeah. Good question. Oh, all of them. No, that's there's a lot in there. There's a lot. I think looking at the first day on Tuesday, I mean, we've seen Angela Jackson present before at our West Brom event, and just from a personal point of view, took a lot back working with youth athletes from that. So that'll be very, very good, I know. Again, having seen her present before and just knowing her expertise. So that'll be a really, really good one. And then again, followed up by basically Spurs' entire MDT team, which is going to be really cool. So obviously we've had really like positive feedback from a lot of the MDT stuff that we've done before with the Pompey episode on the podcast. So now to have literally, Spurs women's entire MDT team pretty much there to chat through it will be really, really cool. And there's obviously everyone else around it as well. So that's going to be good. The first evening, I'm really excited about the first evening, let alone the full day on Wednesday. So, again, Ben Rosenblatt is a big name. Everything he's done has always been really good as well. So I'm excited to see what he's got to say. But then, oh crikey, yeah, a lot on there really. And I think the options we've tried to put together. I think that's what I'm excited to see actually as well is how people choose to navigate the day really, depending on their backgrounds and what they're interested in seeing. Because yeah, you can make of it what you will, and there's different disciplines, there's different walks of life, there's different roles that people are speaking from. So it's going to be a really really interesting day for everyone because you can make it what you want really.
And that's what we've seen with the sign-ups as well. Obviously, we've been keeping an eye of who's signed up
Mm.
for tickets, and we've had head of performances, we've had sports scientists across academy and first team, we've had nutritionists, people in different roles. And just
Yeah,
to touch on what Jordan's mentioning there, from just before lunch on the second day, we've got different options of presentations that you can attend. So at 10:45, we've got three all at the same time, so you can choose which route you take. Jimmy Reynolds is going to be presenting on From Fear to Flow, Overcoming Neuromotor Deficits for Confident ACL Recovery. We've got Tom King from KPI. Tom's going to be presenting on the Sports Tech Boom, Data Hygiene Landslide. And that's some of the stuff that he covered in our recent networking event at KPI as well.
which is really good as well. So that's
Really
going to
good.
be top notch. Yeah,
Yeah. And then Howard, I actually met Howard last week to discuss some of the things that he's going to be covering. Howard's from tennis, but a lot of the stuff that he does crosses over massively. He's going to be talking about using integrated shapes to improve on-field movement. And just, I think it's great to tap into a brain like Howard's because the way he thinks and breaks movements down, they've designed a superheroes program for youth athletes. I think it'll just be great to see how he would then translate that into football and some of the key movements for football. And we've always said, haven't we? It's always great to learn from different sports as well. So
yeah,
seeing what they do with tennis in terms of change of direction, decelerating, accelerating, and put that into football will be really interesting. So you can essentially pick your route across those three. Unfortunately, you can't go to all three. But yeah, that's the three really interesting ones and three top presenters as well. So I'm really pleased that we've got them all. In the afternoon, then we've got after lunch. Ironically, we've got a nutrition roundtable. So we've got Amy O'Keefe, James Morahan from who've been on the podcast before.
Yeah.
We've also got a friend of yours, Jordan Elliott Whiteside, is going to be joining us as well. So we're going to have some really good discussions around nutrition, and we're going to bring up some of the key questions that the guys have basically had put to them around nutrition from players and staff as well. And we'll also open up for Q&A as well. So if you've got questions around nutrition, whatever it is around nutrition, you can put it to the practitioners as well. And then alongside that, Sean Cumming.
Yeah.
So Sean Cumming, quite a different topic. Beyond age, identify nurturing football talent in the growth game. So talking about growth and maturation. Obviously, Sean's been on the podcast before. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the work that he does. But it's a really good opportunity to see him present as well. And then after that, Ollie Morgan, training and testing agility. So training and testing agility in football, not always straightforward. So Ollie's presented for us up at Celtic quite a few years ago now, been on the podcast a couple of times, now at Leicester. And then we've also got John McMahon, isometric testing for readiness profiling. And John's always goes down well with everything that he does around force plates and force plate testing and monitoring. So that'll be really interesting to see how people split with those presentations as well.
Yeah, it'd be how do you choose, really? You know, it's going to be flip a coin and go. But I think what's exciting is this, as well as a lot of clubs are sending multiple staff. You know, so we're getting different roles from clubs who are going to be attending. And I think that's a really smart way of doing it. So if you are listening and you're umming and ahhing of do I need to go, or can I send, you know, somebody else from the club, or, you know, whoever you line manage? I've done it previously when I was at Bournemouth. Me and Liam, who's also come in, he's a nutritionist at Bournemouth as well and works at the Physical Performance Hub. So he's definitely going to be going to the nutrition workshop. It's going to be one of those where you can send a member of staff to almost feedback on something. You know, go and watch the round table, and then I'll go to this one, and then we'll feedback and we'll take notes and we'll feed that back to the club. We go, you know, when we go back to the club. So that's definitely something I'd recommend, because it's worked really well for me in the past at clubs I've worked at. If you've got, so for example, Sean Cumming, who we know very well on the podcast, and I think one of his episode on the podcast was one of the most popular ones we've had in a while, actually, wasn't it? That went down really, really well. So if you're working in an academy setting, like 100%, that'd be incredibly useful to inform your practice, and definitely try to get to that one. But then if you've got somebody else that you're going with, you can compare notes and swap notes and get somebody to go to a different one, and then you can try and cover your bases that way. But the options are there for sure. But I just think the wealth of knowledge we've going to have in the building is going to be amazing, not just from the speakers alone, but the people attending. Yeah. So if you are attending, like, just get to know everyone, pick brains, ask questions, network, do all the good things that Football Fitness Federation stands for, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I say, it's been really interesting seeing the people that are signing up, because we've got a real split between first team and academy. We've got Premier League clubs, loads of clubs across the EFL as well, heads of performance, head of academy performances. So people that are in quite key roles that are making decisions and looking forward as well, essentially going to be hiring going into next season. So it's a really good opportunity, which we always want to. That's a big part of obviously what we do. We always want to give that opportunity. But that's what we wanted to try and do with the content as well. We wanted to try and make it applicable for first team, but we also wanted to make it applicable for academy. And I feel like we've got that with the presenters.
Yeah.
Just taking that on further, we skipped the keynote. We'll come back to that in a minute. But we've got our final, wrapping up the day 2, will be an EFL roundtable. And the experience and knowledge that we've got with these coaches is pretty incredible. So we've got Ross Burberry, Sally Needham, Luke Taylor, Simon Whitehead, and Mark Laws, which is a pretty decent lineup. And in that one, we're going to be talking about all their experiences about working in the EFL. a lot of those coaches worked across a number of different clubs as well, been in different
Yeah.
roles. So it'd be great to pick their brains on that and their experiences. That roundtable and the Tuesday roundtable, the women's football roundtable, will be hosted by a good mate of mine, Kyle Walker. Not that one, not the right back. This guy's faster. So he's Kyle works for Sky Sports, so he's going to do a much better job than what we would have done hosting a roundtable. So it'll be great to have Kyle involved as well. But yeah, I think the roundtable discussion is going to be really interesting, aren't they? Just there will be opportunities for you to ask questions, and we want plenty of questions for the guys as well. But we've got some really key topics that we're going to try and cover in those too.
Yeah, I think as well, just like you touched on there, their experience, but not just their experience of the clubs that they've worked at, but the roles that they're in. So Simon Whitehead, who we know very well, I've known Simon for a long, long time, did our masters together at Salford. He's now working at StatSport, but was also head of Academy Sports Science at Burnley previously, and has worked at other clubs as well. And then you go through, Ross Burberry, Mark Laws, and all the roles that they've had and clubs that they've worked at. We've got people who are now consultants. We've got people who have, been heads of performance. We've got people, so the sort of roles that they've had, it's a real nice array and a range that we've got. So, sometimes when you have one person or a couple of people on stage and you're asking them and it can be a bit scripted about what's your role like, what's your day-to-day like. We've all had those sorts of presentations and seen them and heard them. But when you've got multiple people from multiple walks of life who have held multiple different roles, like there's almost like spotlights on every area of EFL and just football in general, really, isn't it? So we can pick their brains on where we see the direction of football going, on some of the problems that we might face, and it could even go down the route of, like, obviously, because we're going to be getting towards the end of the season. How are we doing off season now? Because we're seeing more and more players jet off and work with private coaches. Do we bring that topic up? How do you, if you're at a club, how do you work with the players that are jetting off and working with private? All these sorts of topics. These guys have got a vast amount of knowledge that we can really pick their brains. So that's a brilliant one. I'm really looking forward to that to finish the whole conference, really, in terms of the speeches and all the roundtable stuff. That's going to be a really nice high point to end on.
And we've also got, before we go into the reveal of the afternoon keynote, we've also got a few bits that are going to be quite different to other conferences.
Yeah.
So on the end of the first day, we're going to do a bit of a cool down session. So there will be some practical involved as well if you want to get involved. So what I would say, I've had a few people reaching out asking about like what attire to wear and what's the dress code and things like that. And all I'd say is make sure you're comfortable, but also if you want to get involved in the practical element of the exhibitors and maybe some of the presenters are going to be doing some practical as well. Dress for that. Because if you want to get involved, it'd be great. If you don't, that's cool. We'll have other people involved, but there are going to be elements of that you can get involved with if you want. And a point on that is on the second day, the Wednesday, we're going to kick the day off with a session. So we're actually going to do a bit of training to start the day. So throughout, obviously, these days, they can get quite long. You can be sat down. You might struggle to get your session in for the day if you're training. So we're just going to open up the gym. We're going to put a bit of a session on for people to get a bit of movement in, a bit of work done, then a bit of breakfast before we then break out into the introduction and getting into Ben Rosenblatt's presentation, which will kick off day 2. So if you want to get involved in that, get down to the university when we kick things off. We're going to be down in the performance facility downstairs, and we'll put out more details as we get a little bit closer to the conference. But it's not going to be anything too crazy. It'll be for all different levels, but I just think it's quite nice to get moving and get a bit of movement in before we actually go into the day. Hopefully mentally it'll put you in a good position. And then we will feed you after with a good breakfast and a good prep as well.
Yeah, and we like the good prep. They're always good. If they've got the Biscoff balls, I'll be jumping straight on them. As you know, I'm always on those network meetings. But I think this is why we wanted to work with UA92 as well, because the facility is outstanding. We've all been to conferences that are like at a conference hall or a hotel or whatever, and then you've got a room full of physical performance coaches, sports therapists, physios, from pretty physical, active backgrounds, and we sit down all day, and then we sit and look at a screen pretty much. So we want to do things differently. The Force platforms are going to be on. We're going to be trying to test you. We're going to be getting loads of equipment on you. come and get involved. Come and
Yeah.
get involved because it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. And if it gives you something that you can take back and oh, I tried this at the conference and actually I'm going to go and work with my players and I'm going to do that now because it worked really well. Or you use a bit of a tech that you go, actually that's really useful. Let's have a look at that. That's a massive win in our eyes. So yeah, 100% come down, get involved, jump on the breakfast because it will be good. It will be good. And then yeah, start the day the right way. Do you know what I mean?
We've also got coffee being supplied, and I went to James Moorhan to get the requesting of what would be his brand of coffee, and he recommended Clifton Coffee. We're going to be keeping everyone caffeinated for the day as well. But just on what Jordan was talking about in terms of the exhibitors, we've got people like Output Sports, we've got Black Box, we've got Metrics and other companies that are going to be there. These might be some bits of kit that you use already. Stat Sports are obviously our main sponsors, so I'm sure a lot of people will be using Stat Sports already. And a lot of the exhibitors want to use it as a chance to catch up with you. So if you've got questions, if you're using Stat Sports already or using Output or whatever bit of kit it is, it's an opportunity for you to go and ask the questions and maybe just refine what you're doing. I'm sure they'll want feedback as well. Well, I know they want feedback. I've spoke to them. That's one reason why a lot of them are coming. So we'll have chances to use the kit, but it's also a great chance for you to catch up with them as well. So yeah, really utilize that. Shall we do the reveal, Jordan?
I think it's time. You've got to, haven't we? Yeah.
So we've not put this out anywhere yet. This is an exclusive, and I've literally just had the message to confirm it. But we are really excited to welcome our final keynote speaker. This is somebody that's worked at various clubs and countries, right at the top of the game, Champions League level clubs. He's worked at Ajax, FC Utrecht, Club Bruges, and he's got career highlights include winning the championship, publishing influential articles, and helping players and staff reach new career highs. He's been on the podcast before. It's Mr. Jerome Peters. So really excited to welcome Jerome. I know Jerome spoke at a number of different organizations before. And I think he's somebody that in terms of high performance, similar to Ben Rosenblatt, he's going to be someone whose brain you can really tap into, developing teams, culture, all these sort of topics that he'll be covering. He spoke about it on the podcast, but this is a real opportunity for you to listen to Jerome speak, take plenty in terms of what you're going to apply to your setting as well. So yeah, really excited to have Jerome as our keynote. He's going to be in the afternoon, just before the EFL roundtable. Yeah, it's exciting, John.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Again, those clubs they're not small clubs, are they? And Jerome, I thought his podcast episode was awesome as well. Like, so just to sort of get your taste buds tingling, like go back and listen to that podcast for sure. Because it was a really, really good one. You can see he knows his stuff. And yeah, I think another top level practitioner. Yeah, again, it's a chance for us to pick his brains. And again, in the breaks, like obviously, yeah, listen to everything he's got to say during the keynote presentation. But all the people presenting are going to be sticking around and be there throughout the day. So like, don't just watch them and never speak to them. Go and introduce yourself, ask them questions. Everyone that's presenting, we know, and we know they're going to go do a great job, and we know they're nice people, so you can go and speak to them, which is, I think, really important. So yeah, but to have Jerome on is a really big scout, big name. Excited, very exciting.
It was a key part when we were planning it, wasn't it, with the speakers, that we wanted people that were obviously got great experience and can speak confidently about whatever topic they're going to be covering, but also good presenters and good people. And we've had experiences with them all, really. And it's been really cool to see the list of people come together. But just additionally, on top of that, the people that have now signed up and got tickets boost that even further. So in terms of, obviously we've got all the education side that you're going to be taking away from all the presentations. The networking side is going to be massive. Like if you really take advantage of the couple of days that we've got, there's some real key names in the industry that are going to be there, and you never know what opportunities could be around the corner. So yeah, I urge people to really use the time in between presentations as well, catch up with people. We're going to hopefully encourage that as much as we can as well, but don't sort of sit back and hide away. It's not really going to be a place like that. Put yourself out there. It's a really good chance for you to do that. We're also going to be tying in with the university as well. You'll see a few students that are going to be there from UA92. So we want to use it as a platform for students to get involved as well. And we've already had some students sign up as well, some interns and some students, which is really good to see as well, because these are people that aren't even in roles yet. Yeah. So it shows the sort of mindset that they're adopting going into this, that they're putting themselves out there into a conference like this because they can take stuff away. But opportunity-wise, it's massive.
Yeah, huge. And again, if you're going to be, which let's face it, most clubs are going to be running placement opportunities next year, sandwich years, whatever it might be, you're probably going to be relying on students. In fact, you're definitely going to be relying on students. So if a few of them are putting, names to faces, or you're just starting to introduce yourself to a few of them at the conference, you're in an advantage already. You're going to get a bit of a feel for somebody before they might even apply for your placement. And you go, actually, well, yeah, they came up and spoke to me at the conference, seemed really switched on, really keen to learn. That's the sort of person I want working with our athletes here at our club or wherever you might be. Happy days, let's go for it. That's a real advantage. You're pre-screening the applicants essentially, aren't you? So yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Get involved, get asking people questions, meet people, do all the basics that, like I said, Football Fitness Federation is all about.
Awesome. Well, it's going to come around fast, Jordan. We're not far away now from the actual couple of days. So if you've not got your tickets already, go to footballfitfed.com and you can click the shop, or you can go on the link at the top that takes you directly to the conference tickets. And just as a little sneak peek and a little bonus for listening to the podcast, I will post a little code in the notes. If you use that will give you some discount off the tickets as well. So if you listen to this episode, scroll down to the show notes, use that code when you're purchasing your ticket, and it will give you a little bit of discount, just as I say, as a thank you for supporting us. And yeah, hopefully we'll see as many of the listeners there as possible.
Yeah, can't wait. It's going to come around quick, like you say. But yeah, get yourself there. It'll be a really, really good event.
Cheers, Jordan.
See you soon.